this being a very young nation, a lot of things that have happened a couple of times are called a tradition. I've jokingly said anything that happens twice in this city is called a tradition, and everything that happens 5 times is an institution. So we took festival first night into a new direction with day 1, which is a great new adventure, trying to open it up to different audiences in different parts of the city throughout a whole day of celebration. We also wanted to reintroduce some art forms that had been overlooked for a couple of editions, including opera and music drama. And that's one way of, reinvigorating the festival every once in a while. SEMELE Walk, I think, is a real coup for the Sydney Festival. To get a show here that was only going to exist once, and then to convince the creative team that it had to be recreated for Sydney, and then knowing it involves somebody as crazy as Vivienne Westwood, the fashion designer. What it is a mixture of opera, fashion design and punk. So it's a really interesting and fascinating mix of old and new, and we're really happy to be able to present it in the beautiful town hall here in Sydney. One of the things I immediately said was we had to bring back about an hour. It's a great way of discovering a lot of work over the course of one weekend. The idea being that you take a fairly small risk financially. You buy a fixed ticket price, $35 ticket, for a show that will not last much longer than 1 hour. You could actually see about 8 works over the span of one weekend, and they range from music to theatre to dance to visual arts installations. One of the works in it is actually an Australian work called It's Dark Outside, about an elderly man who basically starts to lose his memory. And for him, reality is a very different thing than for his surroundings. And so we discover his reality through his eyes. There's a couple of other really beautiful international and local projects, including Symphony by Lex on the Wall, that will have a new look at Beethoven's 7th Symphony played on an electric guitar. Or there is a small work called The Moment I Saw You, I Knew I Could Love You, about an elderly couple and how they fell in love. And in that work, the audience is invited to sit in life rafts with people they probably don't even know.
I don't know why they affected me like that. I just couldn't stop looking at them.
One of the things I found really important was to engage with Asia and to bring a number of works from Asia. So we're having a Chinese opera, we're having an Indonesian grunge band, we're having a mainland Chinese visual arts installation, we're having work from the Middle East, theatre from Kuwait, a Japanese band, Osaka Monorail, and all of them actually really are very different takes on what we think is Asia. Of course, there's much more that we bring, not just from other parts of the world, but also to give local artists a chance to be on that international stage. Marcy is a real discovery, I think, from the region. It's a production by Fijian theatre maker Nina Nawalowalo, and it tells the story of the unlikely meeting of her parents. Her father was a Fijian tribal chief, and her mother was somebody trained as a nurse in England. And when Nina's parents died, she started to literally put all the pieces back together and to work out what that relationship was and how it started. And she does so in an analogy with Marcy. Marcy is a kind of tapa cloth from Fiji, and it's a beautiful mixture of traditional art forms, Fijian dancing and singing. It's this really beautiful way of telling the story of her parents falling in love. Rian is Irish, but then again it's not, because it brings together Irish traditional music, folk music, with an amazing array of performers, and contemporary dance, but in a way that actually involves West African elements as well. It's quite an amazing experience. Of course, we're really thrilled to be back in Parramatta as well. So we're bringing the Spiegel tent back. We're going to have a lovely Spiegel tent with briefs, a really fun show. We're doing Latin Circus at Riverside with Urban by Sir Columbia. And of course, we're going to start it all off with an amazing Parramatta opening party. Urban is probably going to be the hottest show in the festival. Sir Columbia is this amazing group of hot Colombian men and women that started off as street performers and that through a charity project actually got together and were taught some new skills that they could develop in this amazing show. One of the acts I really look forward to is Osaka Monorail. They're a soul band from Japan, from Tokyo. It's just so cool to see these Japanese kids jump as if it was Harlem in 1967. One of the beautiful things of coming here, and one of the great traditions that a lot of Australian festivals have of bringing a new director every 3 or 4 years, is exactly this, is the opportunity to have fresh ideas and a new look at your festival every once in a while.